Welcome to Beers with Contractors.
All right, tradies, another episode of Beers with Contractors. Terry, cheers to you, my man.
Cheers, buddy.
These beers are amazing with how hot it is outside.
It is truly amazing to come into a nice cold beverage after like 103.
Dude. So do you buy your baby powder in bulk from Costco or Sam's Club?
Well, so I do Sam's Club. What I want to try is a little cornstarch. I've been seeing everywhere where it works just as good.
That's that smell when you came into the studio today. I was like, oh, I recognize that. But
No, it has been dog hot.
listen, you learned trades at a very young age.
If by learned trades you mean forced into labor by my father, yes.
Same for me. I'd say we follow the path of many of our 5 to 6 listeners that we have, right?
Yep.
When you started to really get involved in the world of construction, you probably started to learn all these other things that you really should be good at, but you're not good at, which have nothing to do with building a house.
Yep.
Have nothing to do with repairing a property.
Nope.
Have nothing to do with equipment. None of that, right? For me, it was definitely accounting. Like, I just knew how to swing a hammer and build stuff. And build shit. And then it was like, oh, you mean I have to know how to use accounting?
Yep.
The next one is going to be all around. The biggest one, and I give so much credit to the success of our company because of what we're going to be talking about today. The skill set that we're not taught. And to help us with this today, we've already been having a great conversation. I hate it. We weren't recording to begin with. It's like, this is such good stuff. And then it's like, can we get to recording? We've got Meghan Ritchie of Trustal Recruiting today with us. She is a rock star. And what I love about it is the recruiting aspect is not just, hey, put in your information here, we'll send you applications. She only works with home services companies. So Meghan, cheers to you. Welcome to the podcast, my gal.
Thank you. Cheers. Good to be here.
You have such a need that you help people with. But I know that this isn't something that, you took an online course or whatever and you decided to open it up. Like, how long have you been in this industry? Like, what made you focus on opening up your business to help other contractors? And like, what are some of the things that like you love doing about or working with all these contractors around the country day to day?
Well, great question. I'll take you back to the 90s, late 90s.
Remember those? Remember those? Yeah,
The good year, the good old days.
Yep.
Yeah.
I started with home services companies working on the marketing side of things. So my brother and I had a little advertising agency, and we decided, we're down here in Atlanta, and we decided to focus solely on home services companies, helping them grow with good marketing plans. And over the years, some of my clients hired me in-house, and I worked as a marketing director on the client side, worked my way up to a general manager. Most recently, a general manager at Mr. Electric and Mr. Rooter here in Atlanta. And I had 26 trucks, 5 managers.
A lot of trucks.
I was responsible for all the marketing, advertising, keeping the trucks full, making sure that my service managers, all my managers were hitting their KPIs, and making sure that we were profitable. We were keeping our margins, price book was always looking good, etc. So with that, I had wished I had what we created to help me keep those 26 trucks filled. And when I realized there wasn't a lot of competition for me, I said, I'm going to hop out and get into recruiting and help locally owned and operated home services businesses find top talent. It's tricky. And so that's what I do. The whole model was built for locally owned and operated home services companies. So that's how I got to do what I'm doing. Oh, and this is funny. My clients over the years are, Meghan, you're spending all our money on marketing and we're not seeing the leads come in. When are the leads going to come in? When are the leads going to come in? And I go, just wait for it. I promise it's going to pay off. It's going to pay. I'm spending $1 million a year on marketing and I'm not seeing the ROI. And then the year marker would hit. And I swear I heard this all the time. Turn it off. we're booked out 4 weeks. We're
Yeah.
ticking people off. Turn off the marketing. And I'd say, no. We are pivoting. We've been marketing to attract the end user, which is the homeowner. Now we're going to market to attract good talent. And so that's how I got started years ago doing the recruiting, even before I had my own company. So, yeah.
So Megan, I mean, contractors are known as being open-minded and willing to change with times all the time, right?
course.
You know, we do have contractors that listen to this.
Well, I know. Yeah, they're trying to wonder who's like that. What is one of the biggest mind shifts that contractors need to make when it does come to recruiting talent?
I love that you teed that up so beautifully, Terry. In preparing for this, I'm not kidding.
It's my role in life.
I know. It's almost like he's a seasoned professional.
He really is.
3 podcasts in.
This is the biggest thing that I'm most passionate about and it took a long time to get companies to embrace this, but with marketing, you have to set your annual marketing budget, strategy and plan, percentage of projected revenue, and stick with it. I don't care if it's your slow season. You might be down a couple of months, but stay with it, because when you come out of the slow season, you're going to be at the top of the game and kicking all your competitors, you know what, if you stick with it. So my big thing lately, more than ever, it's really a mission of mine, is to create a paradigm shift in these locally owned and operated home services business owners' heads to say, you have to think of recruiting the same exact way. You have to always be looking, spend a certain percentage of projected revenue on recruiting, and do it with tremendous focus, strategy, preparation, focus consistently over time, and you'll build an outstanding team. I mean, it's not that easy, but you will.
Yeah.
Well, and it's got to be difficult because, you know, if you take that concept of marketing, right? So they spend X number of dollars, they're going to get X number of leads or X number of revenue coming in. How can they justify, hey, I'm spending X amount on recruiting? What metrics should I be looking at and saying, yes, it's paying off?
You know, that's another great one. It's not just about the recruiting. So I always tell people, you know, before you ever think about recruiting, have you done your planning? Have you done your pre-hire strategy? And they'll look at me like, what the heck is that? No, I just need to fill this truck. What's a pre-hire strategy? And what do I have to prepare for? And there's quite a bit to really, really make recruiting have an ROI. You have to prepare. So what does that look like? Number one, you got to create a good job description. Number two, you have to, be able to understand what success looks like in the role and really be clear. Number three, and super duper duper important, have a prepared training plan for the onboarding process. You want to set these people up for success. Look, great top tradespeople, even great office managers and service managers, they're not a dime a dozen. They are not. And so when you get them, how well prepared you are to set them up for success, to show them that you thought extensively about bringing them in and what it would look like to make sure that they were really onboarded well, matters tremendously. So back to the recruiting, how do you show the ROI? Well, I'll put it this way. If you're spending X amount of dollars on marketing and you don't have top-notch service professionals who are well-trained to go take care of those leads, then why are you even in business?
Ooh.
So the ROI absolutely is there, because if people can't produce the job, I mean, why be in business? And you need good people to produce the job. Now we're talking, are you going to have callbacks because you didn't train well? Now you've lost your margin. Do you understand, your fully burdened labor rate? Are you pricing things right? I mean, there's so much that goes into preparation. And that's where if you haven't really figured out your numbers and you haven't really prepared the training and development and set yourself up to then go into recruiting and make sure that it's worth the investment, then yeah, you might think it's not worth the investment, if that makes sense.
Well, that's what's so interesting about this, Megan, because when we talk about this idea of budgeting for this as a line item, Terry, you know this because you get to work with general contractors,
Mhm.
commercial contractors that want your students at OU. They build it into their line items. And it's like, no, this has to be allocated to outreach or we're not going to have anybody. And these are $100 million a year companies. But the same applies even on a smaller scale. And Meghan, I think that's another thing that I would say that you probably wrestle with a lot is, all right, we put money out there, and Indeed and ZipRecruiter and all of them, they're just, they advertise like, give us $1,000 and you'll get a hire today. No, we know that that doesn't work that way. But you have a customer, you're helping, they finally get that money pushed in, and then they have this mindset of, well, nobody wants to work. How do you respond to that?
Well, I think it's who have you been hiring and who have you been accepting to this point, right?
Yeah, I mean, I open a business. People aren't just going to come to me and want to work for me.
right.
Sorry, I can say it. Megan's being polite.
Someone has to on this show.
Right. Well, you're right. I mean, you have to be attractive. You're setting yourself up to be attractive to the end user, right? The homeowner, the customer. You have to be equally as attractive to who you're looking to bring on board. And if you're not, there's plenty of other people who will have a better comp and benefits package or better culture to go to, or, more leads that they offer. I mean, it's really important to embrace the fact that they are not these great top tradesmen are in techs, you name it. They're not a dime a dozen, and they're hard to find. And when you find them, you want to keep them.
Mm-hmm.
So do you think that it's true when contractors say there's no one out there looking for these jobs? Or is it more there's no one looking for the job you're offering because you don't have the benefits they want or need?
There's a flood of tradesmen that have gone out of the market in the past few years, and they're not coming back into the same level to replace them well. So there is a deficit. And so we are up against. So when I do my labor market analysis for a new client, or even before the client comes on board, I am always in looking, to what degree is this a competitive market for, let's say, an HVAC tech or a plumber or electrician, right? And it almost always says it's highly competitive. Most of the good guys are working. Like, I see this consistently almost through any market. Some markets are drier than others, let's put it that way. But what it really comes down to is you cannot just post a job and hope people are going to apply.
Yeah.
You have to go out and proactively invite passive candidates to apply. I mean, it's just that way. There's no longer can you really, I don't know anyone who posts an ad and gets a ton of great texts from a posting after a month. It just doesn't work that way anymore. It did 2 years ago. It's changed a lot. And again, I think it's because of the mass exodus of a lot of, great tradesmen retiring, et cetera. And the ones coming out of tech school, they're amazing and they're going to do very, very well. At the same time, so many states across the country need them to have their journeymans, and maybe they still have to take the test and they haven't passed it yet, or they got to take it 2 or 3 times because it's hard. But that all being said, it just takes time, right? They need their 8,000 hours to get their journeymans, and it's a process. So even though there's lots of apprentices, it takes a while.
I think a lot of the companies that take part in the summer camp or the construction camp for kids that we do each year, understand that they're not just giving back and helping their community, but they're getting their brand out there, and that there's a chance down the road that these young people coming through that have said, hey, I'm interested in this, are going to remember their brand when they're ready for that first job.
I love that you said that, Terry. Long-term thinking's key.
Yeah, Will does not do a lot of long-term thinking. Trust me, I've been around him long enough to know that.
That's not true.
Squirrel.
Sorry,
Look what he built.
Like, what's the next holiday? When's my anniversary? What are we having for dinner tonight? How much beer's left in the fridge, Terry?
Not enough. Not enough, Will.
Not enough. That's right. That's a right answer. No, Meghan, so this is interesting, though, because we've gotten through the mindset shift. And I think that's probably your biggest hurdle when working with folks is like, you have to stop looking at this the way you are looking at it. You mentioned the paradigm shift before. When people make that shift, what is some of the cool things that you've seen your clients do to think outside the box on finding talent that you think is just super cool?
This year, our retainers have exploded. I mean, people are committing to, and we really slow down and say, okay, think about your projections with regards to all your KPIs, your revenue goals, et cetera. How many, vans you dream of having, or trucks and techs, and what you need to actually get to that revenue goal. And just having them stop and think about their plan and who needs to be hired to get there. And what they realize in thinking about it from a talent strategy perspective of building the team, building the bench, have they dealt with low-hanging fruit and performers on the team and they've kept them because they really haven't had anybody to replace them? Do they dream of doing that? Like really creating a high-performing team. When you think about that and you think, oh gosh, I got to hire all these people over the course of a year to get to where I want to go, that's where having that always be looking, commit to a program with, someone that can help you, hire an in-house who's always looking, always inviting outbound, understanding what the next role is to get the company to where they need to go to build a strong team. Did that answer your question, Will?
Absolutely. I think it's funny, like people are like, man, we got all these leads, and then all of a sudden they're running around and they're capturing all in their cell phone. And then they lose leads because, it's like, well, people they're not waiting around for you to.
They're not going to wait. Back. Been there.
And then we literally don't have somebody replying as fast as possible to even unqualified candidates, because Indeed is doing it, and Indeed is not going to give them the experience that you call it, the candidate experience.
Right.
So you got to intercept them as fast as you can. And I'm happy to hear this because I know you help a lot of companies and help a lot of HR directors too, where it's like, well, where do you suggest it, Meghan? When do you pull in that full-time person? Because it's indirect overhead that you're adding to the company, but holy cow, it's like you need people. It kind of works out.
Yep.
I mean, that's a great question, because not a lot of smaller home services businesses can afford or really have even considered what would it take to have someone in-house. I do think fractionals are up and coming for home services businesses. Yeah. Fractional CFO. Do you know your numbers? Yep. Do you know how to put together performance pay compensation plans? Because that helps. That's in the planning and attracting great talent, right? Fractional marketing people, fractional recruiters, so we're seen as a fractional recruiter. So people pay a fraction of the rate to have us always be looking. They don't pay our taxes. They don't pay us benefits. If you sign for a year with us, our price goes substantially down per month. So find someone out there. It doesn't have to be clearly us or someone that you hire in-house, but find someone that you think might fit into your budget and can do what you need done every single day and move fast. So the other key to hiring, this is critical, is move fast. If you invite someone to apply and that great technician responds, I'm interested in talking with you, the day they say that, you got to connect with them, ideally talk to them that same day, get them with the business owner the next day, and make the hire within 24 to 48 hours of when they said they're willing to talk with you. Because if you don't, your competitor will hire that guy or gal.
And I think what you're looking at or talking about is that difference that we see in generational divide, right? So you might have a business owner or a hiring manager.
Why are you pointing at me?
Will, I'm pointing at you, not just because you're a business manager and a hiring director, but you're old. You are.
If you're an old, gruff, angry teddy bear of a looking guy named Terry, insert, next question. That's what you were doing. That's what I saw what you were doing.
But I think it's interesting to understand is like back when we were looking for our first jobs, right?
That's probably the
would-
mindset of
yeah,
most
we
back
would've-
in my day. Are you finding that, Megan? Like, well, back in
Yes.
my day.
Way back
And
when.
it's not the same.
Well, no, you have a great question here. I know where you're going with this.
Well, what is that generational shift that companies have to make about hiring the new younger generation as they come into the trades? Like, what are the big things that they have to say, all right, that was true for me. It's not true for them.
All right, tradies, I know lead generation has been top of mind for all of us this last year and going into 2026. So let me put you onto a marketing team I actually trust, Greenbaum Steyer's Strategic Marketing Group. And oh yeah, they're friends and network affiliate of ours, but I'm telling you straight, these guys are different. Most marketing agents, they've never worn boots. They never dealt with seasonality, weird leads, price shoppers, no shows. You know, Mrs. Johnson calling you back 3 times because her basement feels wet. Greenbaum Steyer's was literally born out of a successful foundation repair and waterproofing company like mine, so they actually understand how our businesses work. They've been doing this since 2017. They're a full service branding, websites. They convert with SEO, compounding over time, traditional media buying, and of course, lead generation that makes the phone ring. But the big thing is strategy. They're focused on helping you overcome what's holding you back, tighten up your systems, and hit real goals, profitable goals, and not just some vanity metrics and pretty reports that you can brag about at some conference. So if you're tired of guessing, tired of wasting money, and you want a team that knows contractors and knows how to drive results, go check out Greenbaum Steyer's Strategic Marketing Group. Tell them Will and Terry sent you. Their website's greenbaumsteyers.com. That's GREENBAUMSTIERS.com. I'll put it in the link. Keep grinding out there, tradies.
Right. Well, so we grew up in the era of, be the first one in and the last one to leave and you'll go far. I mean, you probably heard that, right? It was like, be a workhorse. If nothing else, be a workhorse and you'll do really well. I mean, that was you did whatever it took to get the job done, get it done right. If you miss dinner, you miss dinner. I mean, this generation, this newer generation coming into the trades, I do respect this tremendously. They want work-life balance. They look at their parents and they go, I don't want to miss my children's whole life like you did because you worked all the time, right? And so it's very hard for these business owners to say, oh my gosh, I want an 8 to 5 job. That just doesn't exist. Or we're in home services. What about OT and, having to work on call too, But the bottom line is this. This is true. I've seen this again and again. People don't mind working, on call for a week or doing OT, but they want a realistic, transparent schedule. They want to know what to expect. They want to know you've thought about it. They want to know that you don't expect them to work OT 6 days a week. And oh, by the way, you don't give them any PTO in the first year. I mean, how is someone supposed to have any sort of balance? You burn out your team. And so just again, it's a different age. There's got to be a little bit of give there of saying, I see you. I recognize it's hot. You're working long days. And if you want to take a week off, I'm going to honor that. Yeah. It's not that they're not going to work hard. It's not that they're not going to do any OT or on call. They just aren't going to do it 52 weeks a year.
Well, and I want to get into some of those questions after hire, including onboarding and ongoing kind of employee engagement. But before we do, it's funny, we were talking, I was a workhorse too, Terry, but then I just found out that I was an ass.
Were still.
I wasn't even a mule. But Megan, I do want to get on the topic of benefits because I do believe that is a secret sauce. If you have a great culture, you're on the game. I like to say, if you're the chief talent officer in your company, you're thinking and looking for the right people. Benefits are a very important aspect for contractors attracting the right talent. From your view, what had been the top benefits that have given contractors a competitive edge on the market to find good people?
Well, again, think about it this way. I always tell people, companies are like, well, we don't give PTO till the second year, or we only give a week in the first year. That's just our company policy. too rigid. And I'll tell you why. And I know a lot of people are like, well, our other guys are going to get ticked off. They see that ad and they see we changed it and blah, 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 blah. But the bottom line is this. If someone has 5+ years experience as a residential licensed electrician, and he's already getting 2 weeks, do you think he's going to leave where he's at to come to a place where he now gets none for a year?
Right back to zero. Yeah, exactly.
He's not. So you have to think like the person who's applying, who you're trying to pull over, who you're trying to have come work for you, and meet them in a very realistic spot. Other benefits. People appreciate healthcare benefits, but what I've seen, or I should say healthcare benefits, yes, but I meant to say health insurance, but health insurance is so cost prohibitive for a lot of small business owners that there's something out there now called the health benefits, where it's the teledoc. It's not that expensive. 80% of reasons people go to the doctor is to, get a prescription and antibiotic. And so you can purchase these dental, vision, and health benefits, not insurance, very affordably for your team. So that's something to consider. Also, a lot of our clients that are smaller do a health insurance stipend. So they'll pay up to $300 or $400 per month towards a plan that the family gets for themselves. So that's an option. There are ways to, have it work and be affordable if you're smaller, if that you feel like that's a roadblock and something that you're learning from good top candidates that they can't take the position because there's no benefits around health insurance and wellness.
Now, Will, one thing I will say is that the younger generation and the kids I see in school now are far and away more smart.
They're better smarter.
Better smarter?
Yep.
They're better smarter than we were at their age, right? And so the question I would have for you is, do you think that young talent coming in is going to consider a job that maybe is paying less, that has better benefits, versus one that just has that better salary or better hourly rate?
Are you asking me or Will?
Yeah, Will knows nothing, so I'm not asking him shit.
Back to workhorse or ass? No, I think that's a good question, because when you think about it, it's like, hey, I'm assuming in my age that the younger generation just wants security and predictability. But I'm not the subject matter expert, because you get to see the data from all over the place. What's your spin on that, Meghan?
Well, first and foremost is what you're going to pay them, whether you list it as hourly or annually. Is it competitive? And I always tell our clients this. They tend to say, well, I'm making it up, I want to pay $27 to $33 an hour for someone with 4+ years experience. And I'll say, so what is the market paying someone with 4+ years experience? Well, it's like closer to 40 or 50. So how do you think you're going to get that person offering less? So it's always about know exactly what you're willing to take, offer the pay relative to that. I tell people, shoot higher. So if you want someone with 6+ years of residential experience, right? And that person's going to get paid in the 40s. I'm making this up. They're going to get paid in the 40s. You can't offer in the 30s, because if the rest of the market's paying in the 40s, no one will ever respond. It doesn't matter how many people you invite to apply. So you really have to be commensurate with what the market bears for the person at that level and the pay. If you can't afford that pay, drop the number of years that you think you want to have that be commensurate with the pay, be commensurate with their number of years of experience, so that you at least attract someone that has years of experience in doing what you want them to do. So it really is rather, you have to be very particular in what you say you want matched up with the pay. And the pay is the number one thing that 90% of the people care about. Pay has to come first. If that isn't right for the number of years you're seeking, they won't even apply. So benefits do fall second to pay. You have to be competitive in the pay, or you're dead in the water. Everything else is augments the package, if you will.
Well, before we segue into, because I want to, we we now shifted the mindset. We're changing things in how we're approaching recruiting. And then I want to get into some onboarding and post-hiring stuff. And by the way, Terry, make note, definition of commensurate. I don't know what that means. So anyway, I'm just kidding.
No.
Meghan, what is the wildest job description you have seen from somebody out there? Doesn't have to be one of your clients. I love to read some of these things on Facebook. It's like, must be willing to work in 200-degree heat. Must be able to wake up on fucking time. Must be able to have fucking common sense. And I'm like, this guy is not going to hire. Who reads that and is like, I want to work for this dude? But I know you get to see the dirty of the dirtiest out there, Meghan. Like, what's the wildest job description you've seen?
Wildest. Oh gosh. Honestly, again and again, we see our team cracks up because we see job descriptions when we're out there doing our research that, talk about a unicorn. I'm thinking, is there a human being on this planet that can do all of this? And it's not even just absurd things or things that would turn you off, but it's like, we need you to be phenomenal at operations and having built a $25 million company and their operations from ground up all by yourself, in addition to being the top salesperson, and you have to lead the sales team and recruit all the people for your sales. Like, it's too much.
On a $25,000 a year salary.
With 10 years
Right,
of experience,
Yeah.
well, you're
And you
18.
get to make $50,000 a year.
There is
So
that guy
that's,
out there.
truly.
But he was in a car accident, got brain damage, and saw the ad and applied for it for $25,000 a year. It ain't gonna work out. Oh gosh.
Those are the crazies. Those are truly the
I-
crazies, because you sit there going, not one person has applied to this. Not one person has applied to this.
Actually, Meghan, Terry and I will troll apply to these. If you find them, just send them to me. You have my email address.
What we need to do is,
I'm
honestly,
your guy.
we need to go get those 1990s glamour shots and then send that along with our resume.
We can pull that off. Oh, dude, we could have. This is becoming serious now, Terry. I know that look in your eye when you have an idea, or we have an idea that connects like ships in the night. Like, this is not good. And Meghan's in on it now. She's an accomplice.
Yeah, I know. She's really trying to wonder, like, what did she just walk
I know.
into?
I'm trying to help her business, and now
Why
she's
am
like,
I
"What
here?"
the hell did I just get myself into?"
Not
All right,
at
sorry. All laughs aside, Meghan.
Not at all.
Now we got our mindset right. We made the paradigm shift. We're good. We're attracting people. We're setting it in the budget. We are interviewing correctly. We made the hire. You mentioned something in the intro about onboarding. And this is something that I've been guilty for it. So I don't want to paint a perfect picture. We're not this way now, but we have an onboarding strategy and call. But I've been there where it's like, all right, thanks for coming to work for me. I needed 10 people and you actually showed up. Right. Here's your shirt. Now go work with Javier and he's going to run you through the ringer. He's gonna work the shit out of you. So let's talk about your best practices for onboarding that contractors can take away to say, all right, cool, this person's going to stay.
Again, knowing what the KPIs are and success looks like in the role and communicating that out from the get-go. So often business owners throw people in a truck, too soon. And then they're ticked off when they don't do things correctly, but they never really told the person what they expected or how they wanted it done. And they'll say, well, it's common sense, but it really isn't, because maybe the last place they worked, they did do it differently. So I think the biggest thing is have an onboarding plan. Take the time to have someone help you write out all the, you can, we got AI now, ask AI what needs to go into a training / onboarding manual for a new hire for this position, X position. And, you're going to start off with just bring them in the first day and say, look, I want you to get a feel for the office, who's here, who the team is. I always tell people the first day is the most important. You can never get back it's like the first impression, right? So when they come in, they should have a folder. They should have a schedule for what to expect, even if it's a rough schedule for the next week, 2 weeks, or a month, whatever the onboarding is. And it walks through exactly what to expect. Have them sit with each department in the first day. I used to take a couple of people, myself, their manager, and maybe someone on the team to lunch the first day. Lunch is on the company the first day. We're just going to go out and talk and get to know you and have you ask us questions about the company. And then the second half of the day, the business owner, the manager, talk about the culture, why the culture matters, how you tie culture into performance. And at the end of the day, every training day, how do we do today? What'd you learn? What could we have done differently? So that you can continue to update how you're training each and every day. And even they might tell you, look, you put me with so-and-so to do a ride along today, and he's got a bad attitude. I don't know if you know, but he doesn't want to be here. Well, good to know, because you want to send the next new hire with him.
Yep.
This is why you have to stop each day. Yeah, you got to ask.
Yeah, it's like, why didn't Earl come back? Well, find out, like, Earl went with Jimmy, and Jimmy was an asshole and said,
yes,
he was having a bad day, and he's like, oh man, I need to be out of this. He lost a good employee just because Jimmy was a dick.
Yes.
Sorry. We bleep out a lot of these too, Meghan. Hold on. I gotta.
We literally bleep Will for the most part.
We had a few episodes where it was like a constant bleep. Not today though. But this is also what you're helping people with too, Meghan, because you see these onboarding plans, right? You have them out of the box. And why you can't take somebody's intellectual property or unique offerings, it's like that. You're not just saying, here's a stack full of applicants, which I think most recruiting companies get it wrong. And that's why I've been trying for 3 months to get you on the show. is you help people with that aspect too, right?
We do. Because it's critical. A lot of people, so corporate America recruiting is much different than recruiting for the trades. Corporate America, most companies, I mean, you name it, Microsoft or Home Depot, you just name it. They do have onboarding and training programs. They're very set up with SOPs and, systematized and processes. And so, yes, do people quit after 2 days? It happens, but it's rare, right? You hire an executive, they don't quit after 2 days. But in the trades, because of some of the things we're talking about, quick turnover happens. So a lot of times our clients will say to us, well, do you guarantee that the person's going to stay for a year, and will you recruit for us again if they quit early? No. The answer is no, no, and no, because I cannot control how you treat them once they get there. And if we find a killer person for you and you lose them, I'm not working for free after that. Yeah. And I hate to sound harsh, but that's a fact. However, I care about our clients, and our clients typically are not that way. And if they need help building an onboarding program, we help all the time. Now, we might just do an outline for them, and they're like, we'd like to do it ourselves. Great. Let me help you do the outline. If you want me to do it A to Z, yeah, you might, we have a fee for that, but we don't care how it gets done. It just needs to get done so that when you invest in hiring someone, they stick. They're more likely to stick because they've been trained well. They feel like they've gotten to know the team. They have been told about the culture. They've been told about their expectations, what's expected of them. They feel like you are bought into them, and therefore they're bought into you. And that will create longevity and good tenure, right? And again, tying that culture and the core values into how you serve people and how you measure that, and making sure they're clear on that is critical. And then obviously the owners and managers have to measure it. So
tradies, running your small business can be demanding. You got suppliers you got to work with, you're managing crews, hell, you're chasing sales. It's a lot to take in. Listen, if you want to grow your business, you got to stop working in it and you got to start working on it. So that's where my friends at Foundation Rescue Supply come in. You're not just getting foundation repair products and waterproofing products and air quality control products. With their nationwide distribution, you're getting a partner who knows how to help you scale. And that's why I use them. The Foundation Rescue Supply team has industry knowledge that'll help make your life easier. You get the tools, the trainings, the systems that you need to move the needle. You want your sales team to close more leads? Done, because they have the proven process for that. You need your crews to work smarter, not harder? Done. Their installation training will get you out there and rocking and rolling in the field. With Foundation Rescue Supply, you're not just buying materials here, you're buying a better business system that they have helped create. And you sell more, you install more, and you grow your team. So the bottom line is this: you get best industry pricing, you get field productivity on track, and you get more revenue out of everybody on your team. So this is your chance to step up, scale up, and thrive. If you are ready to make that happen, head to foundationrescuesupply.com, check out their catalog, and speak to my friends, their team, how you can take beyond the products with your company with Foundation Rescue Supply.
And I think like one of the best examples of this, Will, is like the first time I ever walked in to Vesta's office, right? Like you walk in and you guys have comic book characters up on the walls, right? Your trucks are named after them. And it's all this stuff that I'm sitting as a, older individual that you're not looking to hire. I'm like, why in the hell are they doing this shit?
Yeah.
Right? But the
What
fact
is
of the matter is the young talent that you have loves it, and they engage in it, and they buy into it. And so what I think, in my expectation, Megan, is you would say or seen, if someone doesn't have that culture, you know that if they get that rock star talent, they might not stick because they have nothing to buy into, right?
Correct. Everybody's heard of Simon Sinek's why, or a lot of us have, right?
Oh yeah.
It's what's your why, and sell your why. That's what we do as recruiters. We dive into your culture. We try to get to know your why, because we're selling the why to the candidates. So they show up and interview and they want to work there. People need a why. They need to have buy-in. They need to know that you're not just a company that cares about revenue. I mean, yes, they know you're going to care about revenue, but not just revenue. Like, you care about them, that you can't do and reach revenue goals without them. And they want to know, not just in your words, but in your actions. And this is what this is all about: preparing, being prepared, training them, making sure they're prepared. It's just how you end up setting people up for success, and everybody wins. The customer wins, the company wins, and the new hire wins.
Well, Megan, I think that's why I've always appreciated our conversations, and I like when we get connected with mutual clients and things like that, because recruiting companies are just like, yes, we'll get you the people, and that's it. And then when the contractor gets upset, and they're like, well, everybody you hire or you sent us, they didn't work out. And that's, you're like, well, it's because you're shitty at onboarding. Yeah, I'm sure. I know Trustal's got a better professional way of saying it. But I would.
No.
I mean, no, they're dovetailed together. Good recruiting.
They really are.
Is such just tight at the hip of good onboarding. And then, of course, we're not even getting into culture. We could have a whole other hour when you talk about Simon Sinek. I'm like, oh yeah, we could dive into that. But it is another mindset shift, that paradigm where everything is about everything.
Yes.
And
it's
that's
all
where
interconnected.
I was so impressed when we met each other. Gosh, this is probably 6 months ago, because you connected the two and most don't. They're like, we'll get you candidates today. Well, I'm not even in your business, Megan. I'll get you 10 candidates. They'll all be from the homeless shelter. No, I'm not going to get second chance employees.
And that's like how we're canceled, boys and girls.
But, 10 candidates is 10 candidates. Do you want 10 candidates at work? And Megan, that's where I see that you care and you dialed it in, and you know our industry. So, I know that you're passionate about this industry. You do such a good job for so many people. And it's even better that, you and Tracy are even linked up. Former
thank you.
podcast guest, Tracy Melvin, employment attorney. Go check that one out. But how do our 5 to 6 listeners get a hold of you?
Trustalrecruiting.com. We are there. People reach out to us through the website all the time. We respond same day, unless I'm, ill, but it's not even just me. I have a team. And now
Yeah.
obviously with automation, it really is same day. And it gives you an opportunity to set a time for us to talk for whatever's best for you. So that's really how that works. Trustalrecruiting.com. And I always love to talk with business owners just to brainstorm ideas and help even just share best practices. I love the industry. I am passionate about helping them grow. And really the people side of the business is in my opinion, not just because I work that side, it really is everything. It makes or breaks the business. I mean, and so if I can help anybody, even just with some good advice or feedback, they're welcome to reach out. I'm happy to talk and share.
Well, we're happy to drink beers with you, Tracy. And,
Me too.
Even it's one of those where it's like, people are like, well, can you do the podcast at 11?
Yeah, we can drink
Sure.
beer at that point.
Probably not the healthiest, but we don't film our podcast at 11. Even though there's been days, it's tempting. But no, I even think of this, like, I'm so passionate about this, and I know you're passionate about it. I think we should do an episode, Terry, of like where Tracy and Meghan and also Generational Expert, like we're all in the same one. We're all drinking beer together just because they're all married.
With young people, something we don't have.
Yeah, underage, minors, right? Yeah, that's a
no,
perfect
no,
podcast.
no.
Minors.
And there's our cancel moment.
Yeah,
We've been trying, bro. We've been trying. Good thing there's that drop off in the last like 2 minutes of the podcast every time.
We'll check IDs at the door.
That's right. That's all right. AI's scrubbing this. That's another thing we didn't get to talk about today because of time is like, I think AI is a good thing for our industry, but I want to hear your opinion. I think we should put a panel podcast together. But Meghan, thank you for what you do for this industry. Like it's
My
so
pleasure.
needed, and we see it. You know it.
Yes.
We've been doing it. But man, you're helping people out of the box. So thank you for what you do. And for all of you tradies out there, listen, thanks for listening to Terry and I rant off for another 45 minutes, but also with the subject matter expert around this, Meghan. And
Thank
we will
you for
see you
having
next
me.
week. Yeah, thank you, Meghan. We're pumped. And we'll see you guys next week. Another Beers with Contractors episode. Peace.
See ya.
And that's a wrap for today's episode of Beers with Contractors. We hope you enjoyed our chat as much as we did. Before we say our final goodbyes, a friendly reminder. Beers with Contractors encourages responsible drinking. If you choose to enjoy a beverage during our time together, please do so in moderation and only if you're of legal drinking age in your country or state. Furthermore, the advice and insights shared in this podcast are for informational purposes only. Always consult with professionals and experts in your field, and be sure to follow local laws and regulations regarding licensing and permits. We're here to help, entertain, and inspire, but your safety and compliance are important. So, as you head out into the world of construction and contracting, remember to build responsibly and make decisions that stand the test of time. Thanks for joining us today. We'll catch you on the next episode of Beers with Contractors. Until then, cheers to your success.